Starting today, a first of its kind law just went into effect in Australia. Kids under the age of 16 are now banned from social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. But under this new law, young social media users won't be punished for being on age restricted apps, nor will their parents. Instead, the country is putting the heat on tech companies to take reasonable steps to keep kids under 16 off their platforms, or they could get slapped with a fine in the tens of millions of dollars. Lawmakers say they want to protect the well-being of children, and their efforts are backed by data that shows too much screen time does more harm than good. Other countries are expected to bring in their own regulations on social media in the near future. Earlier today, I spoke with AI expert Dr. Patrick Dix to take a deeper dive into this new law.
So, Australia just announced today that they are the first country to do a
Mhm.
huge social media ban on children under the age of 16. The issue is so they think they're protecting a lot of their citizens, but the issue is these children have been exposed to social media already for years now, and then this ban is coming into place. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, I think it's a great thing that Australia is taking the first step to ban social media. And as you previously just mentioned, kids have already been exposed to social media, but we have to remember when social media first came out, there really were no rules or regulations put in place. Kids now are being exposed to things 15 years ago we can't even comprehend. And with the introduction of artificial intelligence, kids don't know if they're talking to a kid. They don't know if they're talking to an adult. They don't even know if they're talking to a real person. So I applaud Australia for being the first country to take this comprehensive step.
So you think it's okay that they've been exposed to it for years now, and because now we have ChatGPT, and however many years ago we didn't have that, so you think the progression of the technology is making social media a scarier place for kids? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, it is making it more scarier. Think about 15 years ago, we used Facebook, we used social media, we used Instagram, some of those big platforms just to communicate and to share pictures. Now, back then, we could not see what we're dealing with in 2025. Back in 2010, when many of these applications first came around, it was saying basically, I'll talk to someone, I can share my status, etc. Now you have advertisement. You have people that are selling their businesses online. You have kids that are able to get advice from people online. You have people that can direct message people. So the progression of the technology is getting there and it's getting faster. But we also have to remember you add in artificial intelligence and machine learning, you now have two tools that can learn your habits and learn what you're doing and now even send you information. So now kids can communicate with each other on Instagram. Think about when you used to put a kid in timeout back in the day. Well, there is no way for them to communicate. Even if you take their phone away, they can get on their computer and say, I can go on Instagram or any of these other social media platforms or even Discord or Twitch and stream games and still talk to my friends.
So let's say hypothetically something like that
Hmm.
were to go in place in the United States. And we know that a lot of these
Hmm.
kids, they're already young influencers. It's a huge stream of income for children. It's also a very scary place. You know, we've heard stories of ChatGPT telling kids how to tie a
Hmm.
knot to make a noose, things like that. Very
Hmm.
scary, walking them through the suicide process. So many dark angles of this. Do you think because social media here in the United States, especially, has become a stream of income, that any lawsuit to be filed, if this were ever to happen, this ban in the United States, do you think it would ever actually go through?
No, I don't think it'll actually go through. You have social media companies now trying to put in parameters to use AI to say a kid under 13 or this particular age can't get on the app. So they're trying to work behind the scenes and share with parents, we're trying to protect your kids. But if that were to come to the United States, think about TikTok. They were trying to sell TikTok and look at the uproar about that. You have many kids under the age of 16 and you have kids under the age of 13 that use social media for everything. You have people being able, let me rephrase that. You have people that can be found on Instagram and other social media platforms for jobs, etc. And you have kids that can get their products out there. Just think about the recent story of the older guy. I'm gonna use this for an example. He used all of his pension and they were able via social media to raise him about $1.7 million. Think about if a kid is saying, hey, I have this cause out here, I want to sell books. That is one of the ways you can use social media. But if you were to file lawsuits, those kinds of things, kids wouldn't even be able to do anything and say, hey, I can't get my voice out. This is what is going on. So that would not happen in the United States of America. The uproar that would happen, I'm just saying it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point just because of the things we've seen leading up to it. Now, what would you say to this? Because AI is being used in schools and the kids say, hey, if this ban were to ever take place, I can't do my schoolwork as well. However, on the other side, if you ban it, it's driving kids to these possibly darker, less regulated venues.
Well, if you were to ban it, that is a possibility. But if you were to also ban it and some of the materials and images and materials that we're seeing, we can help out with the mental state of many of the kids. We have adults right now that when they see social media, they're having to go through mental purges. When I say purges, they're having to turn off social media for a certain amount of days. These are adults. Just imagine if a kid, if you were to get on social media and say, you need to do this, you should look like this, you should be smart, you should do this, etc. Think how it will make them feel. And lastly, we have to think about the parents. When you're talking about social media, you're talking about artificial intelligence and these kids going underground. It comes down to the parents to govern what their kids are doing. Many parents right now are giving their kids smartphones, Android, Google, whichever one it is, to keep in contact with them if they have a football game, if they want to know where they're at, etc., or attend any kind of sports event. But
Mm.
parents are the first line of defense when it comes to these types of things to make sure their kids are not being exposed. You can put blocks on certain apps. You can also see what's going on your child's phone. So parents are the first step and the ultimate step to stop a lot of this stuff from happening.
Yeah, and I read an article as a parent myself about the kids'
Hmm.
uproar in Australia after this ban went into effect. One of the kids said, well, what am I going to do now? As a parent myself, I would say, go outside and play with
Yes.
a basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, or throw rocks in the river like we all did.
Yes.
All right. Patrick, thank you. All right.